Greetings everyone. I'm back after a long hiatus to talk about what we've done with this Philco Predicta full dress. It's been quite a while since I've done a video, and I apologize for those who were following along with this project. Had a lot of craziness happen in life over the last few months. I had lost my job, had a couple other things happen, but I'm doing okay, so don't worry about that. But as you can imagine, the kind of upheaval that happens in one's life. But enough about that. Basically, we got the chassis all finished off, and it's back in the set. Had to do, it's kind of hard to see here. Let me see if I can turn a light on. Kind of hard to see, but there's this guard behind the 5U4 rectifier tube, which is buried back in there, and it had a fish paper piece that was riveted to a hunk of metal, and the fish paper had crumbled and broken, so I was able to get some new fish paper the same thickness, cut it to shape, rivet it on there, and replace that, so that's as good as new. Found a couple of tubes had been substituted with other ones. I've got them all put back to the factory specification for the tubes that needed to be used. So I did a first power up on this set, and the raster was extremely dim, could barely see it. And you might recall in earlier videos that the CRT didn't test very well, so it was suspect. So this proved, yeah, the CRT in this thing was shot. So I had another good CRT laying around that I put in it. That raster is much brighter. However, we revealed a big problem. I wouldn't get any sound, I wouldn't get any video, so that was obviously a big deal. However, after some probing around and doing some troubleshooting, I noticed that, if we get down here and look, sorry, I got probes and other things in the way here. I had to check some of these terminals for voltages, and it turns out that the wire going to this terminal here had broken off right at the wire wrap. It wasn't very visible until I started poking around at wires and saw how it flopped. I thought, wow, okay, so that's obviously a problem. So I bared the end of the wire, wrapped it around, and soldered it to the terminal, and lo and behold, we've got video and sound. However, we're not out of the woods yet. We still have a problem with the picture, and I'll show you that here in just a sec. So I got the set on. It's actually facing away from me on the workbench, so I've got it tilted, and I've got the light shut off so you don't get the glare from the shelves across the way from it. But you can see that the picture's kind of jittery side to side, and also there's a black bar far off to the right where the picture is actually out of phase slightly. So I got to figure out what's going on with that. I've got it narrowed down to being a synchronization problem. So start to poke around inside and check with a scope to see what we have to see. All right, got the set up and running. I've got a scope going to the AFC diodes, which are buried back at the back of the chassis here, so you're not going to be able to see them. But if you could, basically they look like these little guys here. This is a little diode pack. It contained 2 germanium diodes. These are notorious for getting flaky over time as they age, so I just replaced it with a pair of silicon diodes. And poking around with the scope, I first checked at the oscillator circuit for the horizontal. That waveform looked good, looked very similar on the scope to what you see here in the manual. And I checked node 3 of the AFC diode. Again, scope trace looks very similar. However, I am probing currently node 2. Here's what it says the scope trace should look like. However, this is what I'm getting. It's really different. So I'm pretty sure that's what's contributing to my phasing problem. I'm suspecting very strongly that it's in the synchronization section, because while it's getting sync signals, the vertical will lock okay. The horizontal is very jittery, as you saw, and if I adjust the horizontal hold control, that black bar will shift sideways to the left or to the right before it falls out of sync. So I think the horizontal section is getting the sync pulses, but it's not working with them properly to properly start and end the horizontal sweep of the raster. So got to poke around, find out what's going on. I rechecked my networks to see if I made any mistakes in the circuitry there. I couldn't find any. I may have a bad cap or something in there, unbeknownst to me right now. So gotta dig into it, find out what's going on. But wanted to give everyone an update. We are making progress on this set, although just over the last months it's been kind of slow because other things have been getting in the way. But we're moving forward. So till next time, we'll see you then.